Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 3 days since my last confession. Elizabeth's dead. Well, as good as. I failed, Father. God put me on this earth to protect her, and I failed. She's going to die, and it's all my fault. I might as well have killed her myself. If that's not a sin, I don't know what is. After I was here last time, I knew I needed to warn her that Quentin's out to kill her. Trouble is, I just burned her house down, and I've got no way to know where she's staying. She wasn't answering her mobile. Chances are it went up in the flames and is now just a melty blob. If I wanted to warn her, I was going to have to find her first. I tried the hospital. I figured Quentin would have taken her there after we rescued her from the fire. He might not care much about her health given his intentions, but he'll need to keep her alive until she's signed the will, and he'll want to avoid arousing suspicion. Well, it turns out they had been to the hospital, but there was nothing obviously wrong with her, so they sent her away again. Where she went next, they wouldn't say. Confidentiality, according to the nurse. I tried reasoning with her, but it turns out that kind of reasoning gets you dragged off the premises by 2 burly porters. After that, I figured she might be staying at one of her friends' houses. So I spent the next couple of days getting buses between her mates' homes, but she wasn't at any of them. The other obvious possibility was that she's living with Quentin, but I don't know his address. I began to have the awful feeling that I've lost her altogether, in which case her fate was sealed. How do you find someone's address? He isn't listed in the phone book. I knew his car registration, so I thought I might be able to get it from the DVLA. I gave them a call and spoke to a woman who said they can't give out that information. So I told her a load of balls about how he'd parked outside my house to get a map from the boot. Only as he opened it, my cat had jumped in, and if I didn't get in touch with him soon, it'd starve. The heartless bitch still wouldn't give me his address. Then I remembered he's a director of Finnemore Carter Industries, so I thought I should be able to get his home address from company's house. They wouldn't give it to me either. I had a couple of other bright ideas, like phoning the company and trying to blag the information out of a dim secretary, or if all else failed, finding his car in the company car park and hiding in the boot until he went home. But neither of those cunning plans came to anything. The secretary was less dim than I'd hoped, and I spent hours searching the car park, but his car was nowhere to be seen. Eventually, more out of desperation than any real expectation of success, I went back to Elizabeth's house, or the charred shell that remains. There isn't much. It was an old timber frame building. The fire consumed nearly everything. I feel slightly better now about breaking the neck of that cockatiel. There's got to be a better way to go than burning to death at least, which would surely have been its fate otherwise. So really it was a mercy killing. It's all right, I know I'm responsible for the fire too. Jesus, throw me a bone. The remains of the house made for a pretty grim sight. I thought that maybe by some miracle I'd find a clue among the ashes. So I picked my way through them, but of course there was nothing of any use. But then, as I was leaving, I noticed a bin. It was a little way away from the house, so apart from a bit of charring down one side, it was in pretty good nick. It brought back a lot of memories, actually. I've spent long hours going through that bin. I didn't find any addresses, but there was a phone bill with one local number appearing more than any other, starting right after she got together with Quentin. 10 to 1, it was his home number. I was expecting Quentin to answer. At this point, I didn't even know for sure that Elizabeth was staying there, or if she was, whether he'd let her speak to me. So I was totally unprepared when she answered. I was all, "Elizabeth, you don't know me. Well, you do, but you wouldn't believe it. Look, you've got to get out. You can't trust Quentin. He wants to kill you. And for God's sake, don't sign anything." The line went dead. I pictured Quentin coming up behind her and tearing the phone from the wall. I dialed again, praying that I was wrong. She answered again. I was all, "Where's Quentin right now?" I was terrified he was going to kill her at any moment. She said he's gone away on business for a couple of days. No wonder I couldn't find his car in the car park. She was all, "Adrian, I know that's you. Leave me alone or I'm going to call the police." I remembered when I'd phoned her before, she assumed I was Adrian, that guy she was dating a while back. I said, "I'm not Adrian. I can't tell you who I am, but I promise you I'm not him. And Elizabeth, this is important. You've got to trust me. Quentin wants you dead." This will sound ridiculous, but your granddad composed yesterday, and now Paul McCartney owes you a fortune. Only Quentin thinks it's rightfully his because his company made Sergeant shine, and now he's just waiting for your arm deal so he can kill you. She told me to fuck off and hung up again. I dialed one more time. No answer. I was going to have to visit her in person. Only I can't, because crucial to visiting her in person is knowing where she is. I can't even catch her at work, not until she goes back when her arm heals, and then it'll be too late. I've lost her father. She's going to die and there's nothing I can do. It's ridiculous. I could save her if only I knew the address. I'm supposed to save her. There's got to be a way, hasn't there? I know the phone number, for Christ's sake. How hard can it be to get an address from a phone number? But it is hard. Directory inquiries won't give it to you. I've tried everything and I just can't. Luigi's! My God, it's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? Can I make a phone call in here, Father? There's not a rule like in hospitals. I can't believe I didn't think of this before. There's this local pizza place. They use it all the time. I've seen them being delivered. Oh, at least they did at Elizabeth's house. I bet Quentin's had a few orders at home too, and if he has... See, if you're a regular customer, they take your phone number, look it up in their system, and confirm you... Oh, hello. I'd like to order a pizza for delivery. Yes, my number's 01304 496 500. That's right, 8 Barnum Close. You know what, forget the pizza, I'm not hungry. 8 Barnum Close. That's all I needed to know. Right, Father, I'm off. It's time me and Elizabeth had a little reunion. Boy, is she going to be surprised to see me.